Join me as I read Chapter 12 of The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. Go ahead and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so that you'll know the next time I upload. And if you have not had the opportunity to listen to chapters 1 through 11, go on and click that playlist, sis, bruh, while you driving, while you cooking, while you studying. I don't know, you may need some background noise. Check it out. It's all the things. And you also need to check out Picking Up the Pieces to 100 Broken Promises. I'm doing audio for that too. So, if you just need something to listen to, if you like a book, like I like a book, this is for you. All right, let me get into it. Again, chapter 12 from The Coldest Winter Ever. Two big cemented roaring lions sat on opposite sides of the cement steps leading to the place. The door was made of solid, thick glass, framed by maple wood with all kinds of carvings. Behind the solid glass was a black designer gate, an expensive and fancy way to say, "Keep the hell out." The building was one of Harlem's Sugar Hill brownstones with 5 floors. What really caught my eye was the money green Mercedes Benz illegally parked in front. A little black ugly girl answered the huge door. It was so wide and heavy that it opened slowly. "How are you, Rashida?" the miniature lady asked. Once inside the door, we were faced with another door, lighter in weight, that the girl swung right open. Parquet floors with color designs. I caught my breath and reminded myself that months ago I lived in a place 3 times fatter than this, so no need to get excited. While the troll interrogated, girl, she's so shady. "Rashida, did you let Soldier know you were coming today?" I checked the next spacious room behind the 2 more open wooden doors, which revealed a winding staircase leading to the second floor. Now, art, I don't follow that stuff, but there was enough paintings on the wall. Of what? Don't ask me. African titties everywhere and wooden mask carvings. There were big pictures with big frames, the kind I hated, that were supposed to be a portrait of a person. To me, the person was painted to seem alive, but almost always looked dead. No, I didn't tell Soldier I was coming, but I know it's not a problem because she told me if I ever needed. The short girl disappeared into the dark and huge room before Rashida could even finish. From what I could hear, she was talking on the phone for 3 seconds. She came back out and said, "You can go up, Rashida." It was like walking through the museum. There were huge ivory tusks that had to be straight off an elephant, carefully placed in a sitting room with huge windows, chess pieces, marble tables, statues, heavyweight curtains, and plants everywhere. The plants were like decorations as the designer or whoever hooked this place up had them draped over each window and outlining the walls up at the top near the ceilings, then cascading down to the floor. On the third floor were doors closed tightly as though something top secret was done in there. Each corridor on every floor was elegant with marble stools for sitting and plant holders with more plants. On the third floor, doors closed tightly as though something top secret was done in there. Each corridor on every floor was elegant with marble stools for sitting and plant holders with more plants. By the time I reached the top floor, I calculated 27 hours since I had slept. My heart was racing out of the normal rhythm. Now, what was bugged out about the 5th floor was it was huge and clean with tall windows and beautiful wooden floors like the rest of the house, but it was as the designer decorated the whole place, got to the 5th floor and just quit. "This is it," Rashida said. "This is where Soldier is." She knocked lightly on the half-open door and pushed her way in like she lived there. "You can sit there." She directed me to a basic wooden chair near a small table. Rashida exited the room where I was seated. She walked through a small kitchen, the 4th one I had seen in this house, and into another room. I watched everything as Rashida began to talk to someone who was concealed behind the half-open door. "Soldier, I have a sister out here who's a good friend of mine. And that's all I heard because Rashida stepped into the room and closed the door. She probably purposefully lowered her voice so I couldn't hear her begging. She better not be begging. The room I was waiting in was like a library. There were two wide and towering sets of bookcases that went from floor to the ceiling. There must have been at least 1,000 books in these shelves. Big, small, every color, old, new, hard, and soft. Some of the books had papers hanging out of them. One shelf had magazines and newspapers only. The windows in this room had no curtains, even though the people in the brownstones across the street could look right in. How did I know? Because that's what I was doing. Standing in the window, looking in their house, but theirs had curtains. The kitchen was clean, but nothing was in it. Curiosity made me open the refrigerator just enough to look in. Water, salsa, and ginger ale, that's all. I heard a slight movement and closed the refrigerator door real quick. Soldier was taller than I thought, about 5'6". She had big brown eyes, long lashes, and chubby type cheeks. Her hair was shining like it just got done. It was a flat twist style, kind of original. She was a typical uptown girl, big ass, wide hips, and nope, not a flat belly. She still needed to do those sit-ups. Nothing to say about her clothes, blue jeans, white shirt, and wait a minute, a pair of skips? Nondescript sneakers, skips, like she was from one of the Long Island flea market towns. No, she didn't, I thought to myself. The thing that stood out most about her were those eyes. She was staring right into me. She didn't try to hide or even look away when I looked at her. I wasn't going to stare back at her because what was all this about anyway? She walked over towards me. As far as I'm concerned, she was standing way too close in my face. You know, people just need personal space. You're not supposed to tell them that. They're just supposed to know. First thing she said after a long, uncomfortable moment of saying nothing was, "You are so pretty." I turned my head to look behind me, but I knew she was talking to me. What was I supposed to say in response to that? "Where are you from?" she asked. "Long Island." It just dropped out of my mouth. Less is better. I wasn't going to tell her all my business. There was no telling what Rashida had already told her, but I could fix that. "No, I mean, what country?" "What?" I said to myself. The hell is she talking about? We all come from right MF in here. No, I was thinking maybe your family is from Panama or Trinidad or one of the islands maybe. I gave her a one-word response. Nah. Then I continued to push for what I wanted. "Rashida said you know my cousin Midnight." "Yeah," she answered with one word. "Listen," I said. "I don't know what Rashida has told you. She doesn't know me very well." Rashida rolled, then cut her eyes at me. "Anyway, you know how family moves around a lot. I grew up with Midnight. After he was about 16, we just lost track of one another. My mother doesn't have long to live. I'd like Midnight to see her before she dies. He would hate himself if she died without him being able to say a few words. We were close like that. Well, anyway, Rashida mentioned that you knew my cousin. She said you'd probably be able to give me his phone number or address." "I'm sorry to hear about your mom's. Midnight calls me every now and then," she said casually. "Like maybe once a month. But I don't know him or have his number." "How about an address?" I pushed. "No, not even that," she said, smiling politely. "Rashida said you need a place to stay," she asked, still looking into my eyes. "But my dad taught me how to have a poker face, so I put one on." "No, not really," I answered her. Rashida exhaled, threw her hand up, and said, "Winter!" Winter, Soldier repeated. "That's a different kind of name." "See, that's what I was telling you. My friends call me Sasha, but Rashida wouldn't know that." "So, Sasha, you're not having any trouble like Rashida said?" Soldier asked, her eyes leaving my eyes and landing on my bedroom slippers. "It ain't nothing, just some jealous girls at a place where I stay. They don't matter though, because in 2 months I'll be 18 and then I can get my own place." After a pause, Soldier said, "The only problem is that in New York, beef between sisters living in the same space can end up so many different ways. It could be a small thing or it can be murder. Jealousy is a dangerous emotion. Jealous people are usually so intensely dissatisfied with themselves that they have a burning desire to destroy anyone who has something they want, but feel they can't have. You can stay here if you want. You don't look like the type to stay too long, but since you are family with Midnight, I don't mind letting you stay until he calls. Then you two can hook up and take it from there. I like the way she put it, so I agreed to stay. Rashida just said things all wrong all the time. She acted like she had one of those red flashing ambulance lights right over her head. She was always too eager. We went to the bedroom where I would stay. The place was real plain, but there was a big mirror and two comfortable looking beds. My sister Lauren stays in that bed, Soldier said, pointing to the right side of the room. Watch out for her, she's a trickster. She should be home by now, but she's not. Whatever. Those were the last words I heard, because I lay on the available bed in my clothes and 27 hours of sleeplessness kicked in. Around midnight, my eyes reopened. For 3 brief seconds, I tried to figure out where I was. It was the pink slippers on my feet that shook my memory into place. The quiet argument going on outside of my door got my blood going, and I listened in. I thought I told you if you were going to go out and stay out overnight, you should call me. I didn't know I was going to stay out, the unfamiliar voice shot back. How does someone not know they're going to stay out for 2 nights in a row? Now you explain that. I don't really want to explain nothing. I just want to get some sleep. What you do need to have is some respect. You're not my mother, you're my sister. It doesn't matter that I'm not your mother. I am your sister. I'm the oldest and I take care of you. That's enough reason for you to give me your respect. Then she sucked her teeth. The door to the bedroom swung open. I jumped to sit up. She clicked the light on. I could tell she was surprised to see someone in her room by the look on her face. She closed the door back immediately. Who's that in my room? Or should I even bother to ask? Her name is Sasha. She'll be staying for a while. Well, what's the deal? She asked. What deal? Soldier responded. The 411, I heard her sister say. Nothing. She's cool, I heard Soldier say. She's Midnight's cousin. Oh. The sister said, while I sat there wondering what all that meant. Tall and slim, the sister, who was named Lauren, looked like a brown china doll. She was the model-looking type of girl. I couldn't call her a fashion model because she had no fashion. She had nice hair, but with too much gel in it. She had cheap shoes, which I figure runs in her family, knockoff earrings, a little Joyce Leslie Sears learner's type of outfit. I always said it didn't mean ish if you didn't know what to do with it. She came in and introduced herself. Her eyes bounced around the room while she talked. I guess she was checking to see if I messed with any of her stuff. So what you here for? Lauren said. What? What's your problem? Everybody who stays with Soldier got some kind of problem. That's the only kind of people she likes. Then what's your problem? I asked her. My problem is that I'm related. Cash flow. I work for Soldier answering the phone when I'm here. A soft knock at the door and then a push. Sasha, Soldier said. My sister Lauren can tell you the house rules. She knows them, even though sometimes she doesn't follow them. Tomorrow we can arrange to pick up your clothes. No, that's all right. I'm going shopping for some things tomorrow. Oh, you do have money, Soldier asked. A little something, I said, smiling. Yeah, that's right. Ain't no charity case. I got my own loot, I was thinking to myself. A loud bell chimed throughout the house. Could you get that? Soldier asked, calling from the bathroom across the hall from our room. The shower was running. Lauren, can you get the door for me? She asked. Are you going out? Lauren yelled back into the bathroom. Yeah, Soldier said. I watched as Lauren lay down on her bed. Sasha, can you get the door, please? I'm tired. I knew her type. Everything was a test. I played her game for a minute. When I got downstairs finally, I pulled back the curtain. on the lightweight door. I couldn't see the face because the porch light was off, but the street light was off to the side, and to the side. Ugh, let me see something. Hold on. When I got downstairs finally, I pulled back the curtain on the lightweight door. I couldn't see the face because the porch light was off, but the street light off to the side lit up the red Range Rover double parked on the side of the money green Benz. The rims on this Rover were so hot I wanted to screw the truck, honey. Are you going to let me in or what? Now I stood face to face with GS, one of the top hip-hop artists in the music industry. With 1 2-carat diamond in his ear, my mouth hung open. Now, there's not much-ish that could surprise me, but right now I was stuck, guarding the entrance to the door. Shocked I could not move. I had seen all the top artists in concert, even GS. Nobody could have convinced me that we should ever be standing in the same house. Soldier here, the Guess jeans and fresh out of the Nike box kicks looked good, but meant very little once I peeped the gold Rolex with the diamond bezel face. Now, honey just stepped over me like I was a roach. Or maybe he confused me with the maid. I watched his 6-foot frame as it disappeared up the stairs. With my mouth wide open and my hands on my waist, you might have seen some steam coming out of my ears had you been there. I checked how I just got played out in an expensive but 2-day dirty outfit and slippers. They knew who was at the door, and they didn't even warn me. Hell, everybody know how much first impressions mean. I ain't even take a minute to brush my hair. It was right then that I realized how vexed I was that these tricks in the house of success had raided my trunk. I was so happy that I had escaped with my loot and jewels that I wasn't focused on the clothes. But now I stood there calculating the cost. Leaning against the second door, I outlined the shopping that I would have to do in my head. It was obvious that there is money in this house, I thought to myself. I wasn't sure how I would get a piece of Soldier's hustle. I was sure that I would. I knew she had to be some kind of con artist. Where did she get the money for this house? The Benz, all that. Bigger question, why would GS go out with someone like her? A girl who rocked skips and who wasn't just fly. The answer must be that he hasn't weighed his options. Someone like Soldier had access. She must have had those charity concerts to get in good with the stars. Well, now I have access. Staying here wouldn't be as bad as I thought. But like Soldier said, I wouldn't be here for long. I passed the happy couple on their way downstairs. She said, "Peace." I mumbled something back. Then I had to double right back and lock the door as they left. So, are you ready to hear the house rules? Lauren asked, laying on the bed smoking a cigarette. Yeah, give it to me, I said unenthusiastically. First rule is no smoking. She started to laugh. Soldier's allergic to cigarettes, plus she hates them. So I do it when she leaves with the window open, as you can see. She won't be back for a few hours. I'll spray this stuff, she said, squirting cheery aroma household spray. Now, when she gets back, she'll still ask me if I was smoking a cigarette, even though our bedroom door is closed. The window is open and I sprayed this. Second rule is you can never stay in the house when no one else is home. You'll either have to go out and do your own thing, come with me, or leave out with Soldier. Oh, and you can't have a key. Those are Doc's rules. Who's Doc? She's the doctor who owns this house. She runs her medical practice on the first floor. You probably didn't notice it because her office has a separate lobby and a separate entrance. She has a lot of expensive stuff, equipment and all that. So she's real strict about the key situation. I have one, she said, shaking her small set of keys. Next rule, you can't bring nobody in this house. The only strangers who are allowed in are the patients who come in the side door and Soldier students on Thursday and Sunday nights. Now, the men's group meets on Thursday nights. It's for men only. We can't even stay back here in our room. What does Soldier... What about Soldier? What does she do? Where does she go? She's the teacher. She stays with the men. The women's group is Sunday night. Soldier will want you to attend the womanhood meetings. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Lauren was calm. She just said, "Yeah, I know, right?" Well, to a meeting, but she expects anyone she's dealing with to at least give it a try. They ain't that bad. I just go for the laughs. As far as food goes, that's the deal. I don't cook. Blimpie's is right on the corner. Pizza, McDonald's, and there's this good Jamaican spot on the avenue. Soldier cooks good, but she's always on a diet. Then there's food here you can eat. Soldier will share almost everything. Other than that, just expect her to try to get your life together, whether you like it, want it, or not. Don't try to stop her. It's in her blood. Now, the benefits is the reason I bother at all. Soldier's VIP. She gets invited to everything, concerts, parties, dinners. She knows everybody. The thing is, unless she has a special reason, she really doesn't go. So we get to use the invites and meet everybody who's anybody. Like GS, I had to throw in. Yeah, he is fine, isn't he? That was him at the door, I said, hoping she would throw up some more information since she's already been so helpful. Yeah, I figured it was him, Lauren said casually. Them two is weird. I started laughing. Somehow or another, I was excited. Even though I appeared to be cool on the outside, the energy was just shooting every which way in my body. My mind was like a tape recorder, catching every word. I had always went to all the big shows, read the magazines, grown up on hip hop, but I had never been on the inside. As I really thought about it, on the inside is where I needed to be. And if these people don't know how to take advantage of an opportunity, it will be their loss because I didn't intend to miss a beat. What's so weird about them? I tried to seem half interested. Now, figure that dude can get any girl he wants. He comes here a few times a week, talks to soldiers for hours, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You get up to go to the bathroom, them two is still laughing, talking, and whatnot. He picks her up, takes her out. On her birthday, he's in here cooking for her. You lying, I blurted out. No, seriously, he'll do anything for her, but she stopped talking. But what? I pushed, revealing my desire to know. She ain't screwed him. He's not even her man or nothing. You're killing me, I said. Killing you is killing me. Well, what's the deal, I asked. Lauren said, he's not gay. I know girls he screwed before, but check how this man likes Soldier. He caught beef with this man for liking her. But she ain't his girl, ain't giving him no ish or nothing. Maybe she lying to you about it, I told her. Nah, there's one thing I know about my sister. She had a few bad relationships in the past. Now her legs is crazy glued shut. Funny thing is, she got more niggas coming and calling since she stopped screwing. Now you go figure. One thing she said made me wonder. It made my mind wonder. It was a statement about past bad relationships. I wonder if Midnight was one of them. I wanted to ask, but I knew it was too soon to seem so interested. I figured I wouldn't have to be that nosy to put this puzzle together. The way her sister just volunteered information, it would only be a short time until I could see the whole picture. Me and Lauren just clicked. The way she was cool, just like I knew we would kick it together. Back in the bins, things couldn't have gotten better. Doc drove us to go shopping. She was the first black female doctor I had ever seen up close. Everything she had was high quality. She looked young, acted young, and didn't get snobby about being a brain surgeon. When we go into a store, she'd whip out her gold card. When her wallet flipped open, I peeped she had platinum cards, Diners Club, the works. She was picking clothes and accessories for herself out of the top of the line designer sections of the store. There were items only a professional shopper like myself would have the eye to select. When I seen how she just run everything on a card, I thought to myself, it's not like she's even paying money for it. I needed one of those plastic cards so I could walk out of the store with bundles of stuff in my hands. I grabbed every credit application in sight. While me and Doc shopped, Soldier would lean on anything and read her book. Her sister Lauren was playing me so close it was annoying. I could tell she was a sponge just trying to soak up my flavor. She watched what clothes I selected, Even stuff I just picked up, looked at, and placed back on the rack. When I put something back down, she would pick it up. Her eyes would be bulging as she looked at the price tag. I never liked shopping with a couple $1,000s to spend while your partner only had 150. The person just keeps giving you the buy me something look. And y'all know I ain't buying nobody nothing. What the icing was on the cake was I bought a red leather Coach bag. It was a perfect match for the red Range Rover I seen last night. She buying accessories to match a car. Okay. After following me around the whole afternoon without buying nothing, Lauren went and bought the same exact bag I purchased. Stuff like that is unforgivable. But I told myself she's not a shopper. She's definitely not competition. So I checked what she had and let it go. Before I knew it, my hands were heavy with packages, but the yellow envelope taped to the bottom of the pocketbook was light. I only had $500 left to my name. Doc had challenged me to floss. I couldn't let her go on a shopping spree for herself with me sitting back looking like the Poper. Plus, if you have a binge, you ought to be able to fill it with packages from Bloomingdale's, Saks Fifth Avenue, Nordstrom's, and whatnot. It all fit into my plan anyway. I would reverse last night's scene of embarrassment with the messy clothes and slippers. GS would never catch me off guard again. The next time he ran into me, he wouldn't know I was the same girl who answered the door. Dinner was crazy. Picture all of us seated around a large table at Doc's on the third floor. Boxes of Chinese food everywhere. Everyone's getting their grub on. Then the questions began. First it was Doc. So Sasha, where are you from? Now, they may think I'm dumb, but I remember answering these same questions with Soldier yesterday, so I was prepared. I'm from the United States, I responded. They all laughed. No, Doc said, smiling. What city, state, borough? Oh, I'm from Long Island. Whereabouts? Way out, almost to Hamptons. Oh, that's a nice area. Bought a house for my mother out there, in Dix Hills. Soldier tells me your mom has cancer. I hope you don't mind talking about it, she said, smiling innocently. Actually, I'd rather not talk about it. I was having a good day, and I just don't like to think about it. It makes me sad. Then Soda jumped in. Oh no, it's just that Doc is excellent in medicine. There may be some way she can help. A lot of times when people are sick, they keep going to the same doctor, getting the same diagnosis and remedies. Sometimes a second opinion can help. I just nodded my head, not wanting to encourage them to keep asking questions. If it's the money you're worried about, Doc can. Now Doc cut the Soldier off. She's from the Hamptons. I'm sure her family has a private physician and good care, she said. But Sasha's been living at the House of Success where Rashida stays, so then I cut Soldier off. So I don't live in Long Island anymore because my mom's medical bills got so expensive that the family went through a lot of changes. And like I said, I really don't want to talk about it. So y'all don't have to worry about my mother. She has a doctor and a specialist. Me and Lauren decorated our room after dinner. She was inspired by the jokes I made about how plain and boring the room was compared to Doc's place. Now, I let her lead on the designs because I wasn't planning to stay. What we ended up was with 3 walls plastered with LL Cool J posters. Him in every kind of hat ever made. Lauren had some kind of thing for LL, to say the least. She talked about him like she knew him personally. She admitted that she had never been introduced to him face to face, but he was in the green room, and she was in the green room with him at one of the sisters' concerts. Why ain't you go up to him, I asked. She said, are you kidding me? I couldn't even move. I was in a state of shock. I knew he would be there, but there's a difference between knowing it in your head and then actually seeing it in person. You know what I mean? She asked. I just shrugged my shoulders. Come on, she continued. When you answered the door last night and seen GS, tell me you didn't freak out for a minute and just lose your cool. Nope, I fronted. You're a liar, Sasha. She pushed me down and tickled me like I was 5. We both started laughing and she kept rephrasing the questions. Come on, Sasha, you know you felt a little electricity in your cooch. I kept denying it. I don't care if you don't admit it, because I know you felt the same thing I felt. Seriously, though, I asked her, do you want to go, get with him like that? Word up, Lauren said. I'd do anything to jump that nigga's bones. We cracked up. Lauren was crazy. We stayed up all night long talking. Do you have a man? I asked her. A man, I got a bunch of guys. Why do you want to meet somebody? She asked. Maybe, I told her. Well, she said, it depends on what you like. Let me take out of my catalog. She whipped out a red leather phone book with some of the pages falling out. I'll start with the beginning, she said, opening the book to the first page. What do you like most of all? Like the most important thing? Money, I answered quickly. We laughed again. Lauren wrapped the towel around her head like she was a swami or a gypsy or something. She turned the glass upside down like it was her crystal ball. I hollered, "You're nuts! You're nuts!" She pushed a sheet of paper out over towards me. Write down what you want in a man in the order of importance. So I did. Money, car, clothes, jewelry, apartment, masculinity, big dick, clean, white teeth, nice body. I slid the paper back to her. She said, holding her finger up to her lips, signaling for a quiet. After a 30-second pause, she said, seems as if we have a problem. What is it? I asked. We have 50 guys with big dicks and nice bodies. Nothing wrong with that, I joked. Yeah, but they're all broke, on foot, and living with their mamas. We cracked up. Mid-afternoon, we woke up to Soldier's complaints. Lauren, get up. You're not taking care of business as usual. Just because we are sisters doesn't mean you should take advantage. The man at the church is waiting for the contract and the money. You were supposed to be there at 11. Why didn't you wake me up? Lauren asked. Because that's not my responsibility. I was out early taking care of what I'm supposed to take care of. Lauren sucked her teeth. Within minutes, she was tapping me. Hey, get up. You can either come with me or stay here with Soldier. What's up? That's not a choice, I said. I'm coming with you. $1,500 cash passed from Lauren's hand to the hands of the pastor. That's how much he was charging Soldier to rent the church. She was giving a benefit for an organization that worked with AIDS patients. When I asked Lauren why it cost so much, she said, you know the deal, it's business. Everybody wants something, even the church. What does Soldier get? I slid in the question since the opening was handed to me. Nothing, her sister said dryly. She has to get something, I pushed. You're right, she gets an audience. She gets to tell 2,000 people what's on her mind, what her deepest thoughts are, and what they should be doing with their lives. What else? That's it. That's what gets her off. But how does she pay her bills like that? I pressed. Look, she said, becoming annoyed. I hope you're not going to be one of those people who takes up all my time asking me about Soldier, because I hate that. How does she pay her bills? People just give her stuff. She's supposed to pay Doc rent, but she doesn't. She's just different. Don't try to figure her out. You only give her yourself a headache. Within seconds, Lauren was back to her joking self again. Different had to be the word for it. Thursday night, about 30-something guys crammed into the large front of the apartment. There was some who seemed as young as 16, some seemed as old as 30. As promised, Lauren and I bounced as the last few filed through the door. Did you see that? I asked Lauren. Wall to wall niggas. It was like an ice cream store up there. Mad crazy, all the flavors. Big, small, tall, short, bodies galore. I was bugging at the shock of it all. Lauren was blasé. Wait a minute, I asked her. Are any of them in your red book? She laughed. No, Soldier would kill me if I messed with her clients. Nah, her thing and my thing are separate. I wanted to know what Soldier was doing up there in the apartment with all those men. I wanted to understand it. I wanted to hear what she was saying. What was making them listen to her? Did she tell Midnight the same thing she was telling them? What was the hustle with the technique? What could she tell a man as fine as Midnight that would keep him under her spell? Did she meet him at one of these meetings? I wanted to ask Lauren, but she warned me already. I didn't want to set her off. That might stop the flow of information completely. I'll wait a while and figure out how to get it another way. The men's meeting ended around 10. We were back in the house an hour later. I had a feeling GS was coming, so I got ready. First, I showered, seated on the bed with a towel wrapped around my body and a towel wrapped around my hair. I twisted a paper towel. Carefully, I rolled and weaved it in and out of each toe to prepare for the pedicure I was about to give myself. Going somewhere, Lauren asked? Nah, this is just my routine. I like to keep myself nice. I hate the way old chip nail polish looks on fingernails and toes. Lauren glanced at her own fingers. She quickly tried to cover her 2 fingers with the chipped nail polish. Who was she fooling? I had noticed her nails days ago. She sat on her bed and proceeded to watch me. As I blocked her out, my hands worked feverishly to perfect the French pedicure. Damn, your hands are steady, Laura said. If that would have been me, I would have never got that line straight. Then she did it. Can you do my feet next? Now, the long pause between her question and my response should have been enough of an answer. But this chick seriously expected me to touch, clean, and design her crusty toenails. Funny thing, I can do my own, but I can't seem to do anybody else's, I told her. Well, then, do my hands. I'm sure you could figure out how to do that, she said, being too pushy for my taste. So I did my toes, her hands, and my hair. I shaved my underarms, trimmed my cooch hairs into a cute little design. Convincing Lauren that everything was regular, I tried on some outfits I purchased this week. When all the styling tactics were up, I put on some short shorts and a baby tee with no bra. Flipping through Lauren's tape and CD collection, I picked out a mixtape. With each cut playing came a memory. Music had that kind of power. I thought about all the fun I used to have in Brooklyn. I shivered just thinking about how all my friends just turned on me one by one. And when DJ S and S slowed down the beat, the slow jams put me in a state. I started thinking about various sexual positions and how they made my body feel. Then the pressure came between my legs. It's crazy. I thought how getting a hustle had nearly wiped out my sex life. When Daddy was out, Daddy, everything was smooth and safe. He took care of everything. All of my energy could just go to fun stuff. Now I was uptight, backed up, and definitely going to get screwed, sucked, and licked real soon. Lauren turned the music down. Sasha, can you get the door? I rolled my eyes like it was a problem. I didn't bother to turn the light switch for the staircase on. In the dark, I stepped swiftly and softly down the 5 flights of stairs. Loosening my top button down my Daisy Dukes, I let the zipper come down. The light wind that rushed through the door. Did she not have on underwear? What's she doing? Okay, sorry. The light wind that rushed through the door when I opened it made my nipples hard. They stuck through my baby tee. My nipples might as well have been eyes, because when that door opened, that's what GS looked. Do you see me standing here? I asked him in a pushy but sexy way. Well, damn, how could I say no to that question? He asked with a sexy smile and white teeth. Well, why don't you ask me my name? I demanded. He stood there, his eyes falling down my Ralph Lauren panties, which were discreetly exposed under my shorts. Okay, at least she had on drawers. Why don't you just tell me, he said with that masculine force that gets me hot every time. It's Sasha. When you come here next time, if there's a next time, you say, what's up to Sasha. Then you handle the rest of your business. Is that right? He said, looking like he didn't mind joking around at all. As he stepped through the door, he asked, what's up with the lights? I'll show you up, I said, gently taking his hand, using one finger to run across the inside of his palm, because I knew it would get him going. I walked in front of him, leading the way as if it was his first time in the house. When we got to the 3rd floor, I pulled his hand and placed it on my waist. His fingers gripped the naked skin in between the top of my shorts and the bottom of my baby tee. On the last step, I dropped him like a hot potato, turned around and said flatly, I'll get soldier for you. Wait right here. She came out with a big smile on her face, happy to see him, I guess. She noticed nothing. I went right into my room, shut the door, and sat down. Lauren looked at my titties, and in a half of 1 second, she said, yeah, I don't even have to ask at the door. We were awakened early the next morning, and Soldier stood in between me and Lauren's beds. I thought to myself, dang, is this bitch a crackhead vampire? She stays up all night. In the morning, you're looking at her like, did you ever go to sleep? I want you to come with me, get dressed. I want you to come with me and get dressed. On the train, the destination was revealed. We were on our way to Rikers Island Women's Prison. What for? I asked. I have to speak to some young sisters behind bars. What are you going to tell them? I asked, really wanting to know. I don't know, she said. I move on a vibe. Whatever I feel when I see what I see is what I would say. Just like that, I asked. She nodded yes. and what was probably a bold move in their eyes. I asked, "How much does this speech pay?" Somewhat surprised, she responded, "Nothing. When I speak at prisons, high schools, and community places, it don't cost anything." "Well, then how do you make money?" I pushed. "Different ways. I do projects. Also, when I speak at a college, they pay me well." "How well?" "Very well," she said. "Now you got to do is say what you feel? That sounds easy. How can I get down?" "It's not that simple," she said. "You have to be talking about something that's important to the people in their eyes. You have to study, read, watch, work, and interact with people. When you master a particular field, then in your words, knowledge and insight become valuable. You know what I mean?" I indicated yes. Inside, I'm like, "Yeah, I know what you mean. You saying you can do it, but I can't. That's bullcrap. I know more about what goes on in the street than she does. I sure know more about a lot of stuff than she does." We didn't make the normal visitors route into Rikers, or we didn't take the normal visitors route into Rikers. We went through the entrance the correction officers use. We were searched. Beads of sweat began to gather as I placed my purse on the conveyor belt. One of the officers took my box cutter, saying politely I couldn't bring it inside, from the prisoners. "They cannot be trusted," he said. "It was bugging me out to see how they treated Soldier and us, her guests, versus how they treated you when you came to visit the prisoners." The officer who was leading the way began to introduce Soldier to all of the other officers. They were smiling, shaking hands, giving her props and all that fake-ish. The officer in charge said, "The women who you're going to speak to today are all HIV positive. They are in a separate wing of the prison." For the first time since I met her, Soldier's face appeared to be uncomfortable. With her eyebrows screwed out of position, she questioned the officer. "Didn't I say I would be talking to the adolescent women today?" "Yes," he said. "I did. And I have to apologize to you. I didn't get the proper paperwork to my superior officer in time. He wouldn't give me clearance for you to speak to the adolescent women today. I can arrange it for some later date, but believe me, sister, these women need to hear from you." Now, all of our eyeballs are bouncing around. I'm asking myself, Winter, what the F are you doing involved in this mess? Soldier asked the officer, "Can I use the ladies' room first?" The officer said, "Sure, it's this way." "Come on, y'all," she said, making it clear that we were to follow closely behind. In the bathroom, it was just us three. "Oh no," Soldier said, placing her two hands on her face. "I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't know we were going to the HIV wing." "Well, what does that matter?" Lauren asked. "Can we catch it or something?" "They say you cannot catch it except through the blood or bodily fluids, but I never trust what they say anyway." "I'm just surprised. I'm nervous." Soldier leaned against the sink, looking into the mirror. "I thought you worked with the AIDS people," I said. "I thought you was giving a benefit for people with AIDS." She smiled nervously and said, "Yes, I work with professional people who work with the AIDS patients. And yes, I give money, but I never had to knowingly touch nobody with AIDS. I never had to be in a small room confined with them. I never had to see the effect of what that nasty disease does to a person's body. It's different. It's a different thing." Then she splashed water in her face, looked in the mirror and said, "I don't know what to say to them. This one would be left to God. I pray that I receive a message to give." She took a deep breath. "Now, if you were one of those correctional officers, you would never have guessed what went on in that bathroom." When we got back out into the hall, she stood confidently on her 2 feet as if she had never broken down in the toilet. When we entered the doors to the wing, we were standing in the middle of a huge room. The beds were narrow, thin, and very close together. There had to be about 100 beds. The first thought I had looking at these women is, this is a waste of time. These chicks are finished. Most of them were lying down in their beds doing nothing. Their bodies were thin and withered. Their faces were sunken in, like many crackheads I had seen back in Brooklyn. Some of them had fresh bruises and stitches. Some of them had black eyes and blotches. Most of them had big, ugly, plaited braids like dykes. They were in bad need of hygiene and fashion rescue mission. They were in bad need of hygiene and a fashion rescue mission, child. When they saw a soldier, most of them had no reaction at all. In fact, it was the military voice of the man-built female CO that got them dragging their half-eaten bodies out of bed and into the room. Soldier stood, wringing her hands nervously and looking bewildered. I chuckled to myself. "Go ahead, smarty pants. Get yourself out of this one." Now you're on the front line. The women were quiet. Many of them looked disinterested. After all, they had no choice but to be there. They really were a captive audience. When Soldier didn't say anything, the CEO in front of the room cleared her throat and loudly said, "Go ahead, they're all yours." Good luck. Soldier looked over their faces. For 2 whole minutes she said nothing, then it came out. "I can tell that all of you used to be very pretty women. I could look at your faces and see that you once were somebody's sweetheart, somebody's love, somebody's life. And I know when you were younger you thought being beautiful was the best thing in the world. But really, we women don't have anything to do to be beautiful. It's a gift from God. The woman is. Somewhere along the line, many of us are led to believe that being pretty is enough. And while we rely on that, we forget to strengthen our minds so that we can learn how to think, how to build, how to survive. We forget how to live our lives to protect our spirit, to be clean and decent. We forget